Tonight we're in for a wonderful treat. Not only is Michael here to deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech, but he has an audience that came all the way from Jamaica to see him. I know that the human-animal bond is real. Michael, 5 to 7 minutes. Let's give him a warm Toastmaster welcome. Michael.
Thank you very much. Well, before you start the clock, I just want to preface what I'm about to say by saying that the last time I spoke, Susie gave me some feedback. She challenged me and she said, you need to be on a pathway. And that is why I decided that even almost a year in, that this is my first pathway. So challenge accepted, Susie. I know she's not here tonight, but I hope she'll watch the video at some point. Okay, timer, you can start the clock now. The human-animal bond is real. Now you'd think that being married to a veterinarian who is sitting right there across from us for 22 plus years, that I would know that already, because I've heard all the stories about the pet parents or owners who go to great lengths to make sure that their little one, well, sometimes they're not that little, is well taken care of and made whole. But for me, a bond is something that should be two-way. It should be something that's invested in by both parties. And we had cats in Canada. And I'll be honest, I formed the impression from dealing with those cats that they only showed affection when they wanted something from you. Essentially, they tolerated your presence. If you cleaned up after them and fed them, they let you pet them once in a while. But other than that, you should basically leave them alone. You know, you've heard stories about dogs who rescue people from a burning building. Well, my impression is that if this building was burning, the cat would be packing his bags and heading out the door and basically saying, hey, hope it works out for you, and he's gone, they're gone. I need to share a video with you. I meant to bring my laptop up with me, so let me see if I can do that very quickly. Sorry, I'm away from the podium now, but I'm going to try to see if I can do this very quickly. So direct your attention to this screen, please.
You get distracted. You get distracted. Who's at the door? Who's at the door? Hi. Hi. I see you. Hi. Who is that?
So what you just saw, that little 20-second thing, was Laura being greeted at the front door. Every time she comes through that front door, she gets that greeting from her dog. Now you tell me that that's not a two-way bond. That not only is Laura excited to see this dog, but that this dog is equally excited to see her. You just met Nikki. So the mistake that I made in thinking that the bond was a one-way thing clearly is being made to look like a lie there with what you just saw. Now I have to admit that when my wife first talked about getting a dog, I was a little skeptical because of the experience with the cats. I felt that this was probably not going to work out so well. But when she brought first dog home, and it looked like it wanted to bite me, I thought, okay, this is really not going to work out. So she actually had the good sense to take that dog back. But then she brought Nikki in. Nikki, on the other hand, I think thinks we're going to bite her because she is very timid, she shakes, and in fact, on the very first night that we got her, she ran off into the bush 200 meters from the house. She was lost for about an hour. We couldn't find her. Eventually, we did find her. It took a while for Laurel to form a bond with Nikki. The interesting thing though is that she's reserved her affection only for Lauren. So far, at any rate. No one else gets that greeting at the front door. In fact, if I show up and Nikki thought that Lauren was coming, the look of disappointment on her face is heartbreaking. And if I had a fragile ego, I would be devastated. During the day, when Lauren is not at home, and they can keep me honest because they're here, they can see for themselves, Nikki will go into the corner and almost seem like she's sulking because Lauren is not there. Then when it's about the time that Lauren is going to be home, there is this explosion of activity, like she senses that Lauren is on the way and she heads for the door, and you saw what just happened a few minutes ago. And she becomes even more friendly to the rest of us. So now, some of what Laurel got, the rest of us will get. She apparently feels more comfortable around us when Lauren is there. The fact that I look better to the dog when Lauren's beside me is probably something that came before the dog anyway. I think she makes me look better. So it's interesting that the bond has been formed. And that little 9-pound ball of fur thinks she has a job at our house, being a watchdog. 9 pounds. And whenever somebody knocks at the door or rings the door, whatever, that dog starts to bark up a storm as if she thinks it's her job to make sure that we're not intruded upon by outsiders. She doesn't go too close to the door because, as I said, she's a very timid dog. But she has become a joy to have in the house. So it's becoming quite obvious that not only is the bond between Lauren and her dog becoming more and more evident, but the bond even with the person that she has not shown as much interest in, which is me, I have become quite attached to the dog. So I am letting you know that the human-animal bond, when I started, I said I was not reticent about sharing all of these details with you. That bond is real. And I have the evidence to show for it. I was hoping that when we go to Canada in a couple of weeks, she would take the dog with her, but there's a lot of paperwork that would be involved in that. But that's how much I feel I've fallen for this dog over the past almost a year now. Thank you very much for your time.